Top 10 scariest places you shouldn't visit. Our beloved Earth wouldn't be complete without a fair share of creepy places. The sites on this list prove that same assumption. We have highlighted them so you don't have to visit them. But for some of you, we might end up inspiring you to do otherwise. So here we go. Number 10, North Young, Gus Road, Bolivia. Could this be the most dangerous and treacherous road in the world? The road stretches 50 miles from La Paz to Corico in Bolivia and winds its way up the side of the mountain in the Amazon rainforest. The road is 15,000 feet above ground level. It is unofficially known as the Death Road. At some point, it was responsible for 200 to 300 road accidents per year. The road itself is a single lane that is only 12 feet wide. Also, there are no guardrails, and to top it all off, it's usually foggy and rainy for most of the year. Nowadays, it's frequented more often by mountain bikers and adrenaline junkies. Number 9, Nagoro, Japan. This town easily outdoes the Wax Museum in London. Curated by Madame Tussauds, and Tsukimi Ayano deserves some recognition for adorning her town with all these lifelike dolls. It might interest you to know that the dolls are supposed to represent real people, or at least residents of the town who once lived there, but either moved away or died. Another interesting fact is that the dolls outnumber the people living there presently by a factor of 10 to 1. That ratio is possible because at present, only 27 people call Nagoro their home. And there are up to 350 life-size dolls everywhere you look. There are fishermen or sailor dolls on the pier. There is a whole classroom of dolls at the local school. There are also lots of older couples hanging out at the park. If you plan to visit, you've been duly warned that the town might ruin your little daughter's doll infatuation. Number 8, Hill of Crosses, Šiauliai, Lithuania. This is not the infamous hill of Golgotha where our Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. Did you know that Golgotha was also known as the Hill of Skulls? Anyway, this hill in Lithuania has been around since medieval times, and it's definitely not about bones and skulls. The reason the residents of the town flocked there was to fight for independence, so placing crosses on this hill was their way of protesting. But then, this changed when a peasant riot in 1831 claimed many lives. The people put up their crosses to remember the fallen in battle. Then, in 1944, Russia became the ruler of the region, and people continued to put up crosses in defiance. But the Russian government uprooted the hill with the crosses. But the locals rebuilt the hill and continued to place crosses there. As a last count, there were close to 100,000 crosses on this same hill. Even Jesus Christ himself would have been proud. Number 7, Island of the Dolls, Xochimilco, Mexico. Xochimilco is really a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its intricate waterways that were built by the Aztec civilization. Nowadays, it's a bustling tourist spot that enjoys a festive atmosphere all year round. But then there is the scary Island of Dolls, a little way into the canal's waterworks. The island used to belong to Julian Santabarrera, and before he died, he adorned his entire island with the dolls. It was so he could ward off evil spirits. The corpse of a dead teenager had been found there, so Julian really determined to appease the evil spirits, as evident in the dolls and doll parts scattered everywhere, thus making it seem like the set of a horror movie. Number 6, Taylor Glacier, Antarctica. Upon seeing this for the first time, you might be tempted to imagine that someone was killed upstream, and their blood has been carried down to where you are, but you'd be totally wrong. You should have paid more attention in chemistry class. This is not CSI, nor does it have anything to do with forensics. Strangely enough, the feature is known as blood falls, and the chemistry of it is simple. The glacier in question sealed off a microbially rich lake just underneath it. This lake became more concentrated with salt because of the lack of oxygen and light. Also, the iron content became more concentrated, and since the water has become so dense, it cannot be frozen. And the iron is the reason for the red color. Talk about bloody everything. Number 5, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Centralia was once a bustling coal town. It was opened in the 1800s and continued to supply coal until about 1962. The mine was closed because it had caught fire, and the blaze quickly spread through the network of tunnels. The residents took this accident in stride, and life went on as normal. The world already hates coal, so why not? But then, 2 more big accidents happened that forced residents to question their loyalty to the town. In 1979, the owner of a filling station reported that its underground tanks were becoming abnormally hot. Okay, maybe there was a reasonable explanation for that, but then, in 1981, a sinkhole collapsed in someone's backyard, almost taking a young resident with it. Now, the dying town has everyone's attention, so people started to leave in droves. The town is now a ghost of itself, and as one of the last census, it had only 7 residents left. What's even worse is that the underground fire is still ablaze and will continue to burn for the next 250 years, according to scientists. Number 4. Belitz Histaden Hospital, Germany. This site is an old military hospital. At some point during the First World War, Hitler was even admitted here to fix his wounded leg. It was opened as early as 1898 and was originally meant as a tuberculosis sanatorium. During World War I, it became a hospital for wounded German soldiers, especially those who had been shot by machine gun fire. Don't ask us why. Perhaps machine gun wounds needed a special kind of doctor. The hospital was also used as a storage facility for mustard gas during that time. It continued to be used as a military hospital all through the Second World War II. Even after the war, the Soviets used the facility for the same purpose until the fall of the wall. For your information, the hospital still stands today, and a few wards are still in use. However, some other parts of the complex have been left in disrepair, and the place now looks like it came from a horror movie scene. Number 3. Gomantong Caves in Sabah, Malaysia. Don't be fooled by the outward beauty of the Gomantong Caves in Malaysia, and here's why. Tourists who visited the site have unanimously come to the conclusion that it's the most disgusting tour anyone can ever experience. First of all, the cave is home to over 2 million bats, so you'd expect that the poop factor would be legendary. Even the handrails have bat poop on them. But then you get past that and have to deal with the millions of cockroaches that feed on the bat poop. And if that isn't blood-curdling enough for you, you are met with some very dangerous organisms at the end of your trail, from snakes to scorpions. There are some very deadly and poisonous centipedes. It's such a terrible experience that you start to question if you got your money's worth. Number 2. Christ of the Abyss, San Fucioso, Italy. A statue of Christ at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea? How did it get there to begin with? Was it sunk by pirates? Nope, relax. It was put there by an Italian diver named Duilio Marconte in 1954. It was supposed to commemorate the death of his fellow diver and friend. It's an 8-foot-tall statue with outstretched arms looking up from the sea floor. It's as if Jesus is praying to God the Father from underneath the water. If that isn't strange enough for you, the statue has since been overrun by algae and moss. However, in 2003, the statue was pulled up for some much-needed restoration. A lowered anchor has caused an arm to be broken, so that had to be replaced. All in all, you need to be a certified diver to see this spectacle. Sorry. Number 1. Pripyat, Ukraine. This is the ghost town of all ghost towns. It was evacuated in 1970 due to the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. It has remained uninhabited ever since. At its peak, nearly 50,000 people called it home, but when the city was evacuated, its residents left the city as it was. The furniture is frozen in time. The dusty school books are still on the shelves. HBO has even made a series about the city, and the Ukrainian government has announced that the city will soon be opened to tourists. Good luck with that. So that's it, folks. Will you ever dare to visit any of these sites? Let us know in the comments section. And remember to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell button to see more of our videos.